When you're the son of the president of the United States, Donald Trump, and you call somebody a pedophile, what about Eric Trump, by the way? Don Jr. calls Joe Biden a pedophile. There is no evidence to support the fact that Joe Biden ever molested a child. That is a very, very, very serious accusation. And by the way, if you asked me who had a better chance of showing up to be a star on the show To Catch a Predator, I would say Don Jr. would have a much better chance than Joe Biden.
I'll actually say this, Brian. You're not right in the definition of pedophilia. Pedophilia is when you are sexually attracted to children.
And what evidence?
It does not mean you've actually had a sexual relationship with them.
And can you see in Joe Biden's
sexually
pants?
attracted to prepubescent children.
So you think Joe Biden? Do you agree with him?
I've seen him sniff probably 9 or 10 young girls' hair that he is not related to. Mm-hmm. I've seen him holding a young girl with one hand and continually push his hand around her, to get a tighter grip of her. I've seen some things. Am I going to call him a pedophile? No, but he's definitely an extremely weird guy. And hashtag Creepy Joe makes sense to me.
Well, you're a weird guy too. I would never call you a pedophile. You're weird.
I mean,
be honest. You're a little strange.
When you see me sniffing, we'll call it 10 different young women's hair that aren't my 2.5-year-old daughter.
Okay,
then you can call me strange.
I've never seen you do that
in that regard.
But you do.
There's various types of strange, though, Brian. We're all weird in our own ways.
I've never seen anybody pick their nose like you pick your nose. You literally put your finger dig deep up there. I've never seen anybody pick their nose.
I feel like that's very, very relevant.
Well, it's weird.
And whenever you're excited, you shake your hands uncontrollably back.
That's
and
true.
forth.
I do that.
Yes.
I never said I wasn't weird. You're being defensive. I'm not being defensive. I'm a weird guy. I shake my hands when I get excited. I've been doing that since I was 3 years old.
Do you know why I pick my nose the way I do?
Why?
Because I have a perforated septum. I have a very small hole in my nose from breaking it when I was 18 years old playing basketball.
Why didn't you share that with me? I never knew that.
Because it's none of your business.
You could blow your nose.
Basically been making fun of a disabled person.
Yeah, I'm not disabled, but
all I know is your snot is all over my apartment because you pick your nose.
That is not
every
true
day.
at all.
Oh, it's all over.
That is not even remotely true.
All right, well, you sit down on my chair and you pick your nose every day, and I'm just saying that your DNA of your snot is 100% on my chair. That is, there is no question.
I would say it's probably twice a week when it gets really bad.
The point I'm
and
saying
right now, my allergies, I do have some minor allergies right now, along with everybody else, considering how high the pollen levels are.
The point I'm saying is just because you're weird doesn't mean you're a pedophile.
But it's not even the same. It's not even Brian sniffing someone's hair who was a young girl, who was a prepubescent young girl at that matter, that isn't related to you on multiple occasions is. I mean, there's more reason to believe that a person who does that would be a pedophile than someone who doesn't.
Okay, but that's not what Don Jr.
And again,
said.
pedophilia. It's not a matter of having sex with a young girl. It's a matter of having a sexual attraction to a prepubescent human being.
And you don't know that. I don't know that. Don Jr. doesn't know that. And I am not going to call Joe Biden a pedophile. That's what Don Jr. did. Listen, he's the son of the President of the United States. Okay? It's inappropriate. And you know what else is inappropriate? Eric Trump. He said the coronavirus is a Democratic ploy to defeat his dad. Have a listen to this.
They think they're taking away Donald Trump's greatest tool, which is being able to go into an arena and fill it with 50,000 people every single time, right? So they will, and you watch, they'll milk it every single day between now and November 3rd. And guess what? After November 3rd, coronavirus will magically all of a sudden go away and disappear, and everybody will be able to reopen.
Okay, what a dumbass. First of all, how low can you go, Eric Trump, to say that the virus is going to be over after the elections in November? Basically, what he's saying is that the Democrats created this whole virus, and it's a ploy to get Donald Trump out of office. It is an idiotic thing to say. It is wrong. It is dangerous. And again, we're not talking about some celebrity. We're not talking about some idiot like James Woods who goes on social media blasting Democrats every day.
James Woods has the highest IQ in Hollywood.
We're not talking about that. We're talking.
He's far from an idiot.
We're not talking about James Woods. We're talking about the son of the President of the United States, Eric Trump, who is basically saying that the virus is a hoax. He basically is saying that because what he said was,
saying it's a hoax.
Well, then explain to me what you think he meant.
Hold
on a second. Explain to me what you think he meant when he said that November 3rd, this virus is going to just mysteriously disappear. What did he mean by that?
He is saying he's not saying it's a hoax. Obviously, it's not a hoax.
Well, that's not what
but
he said.
are the numbers inflated? I mean, Colorado just dropped their numbers. Just dropped their numbers by 300.
JD,
San Diego just made a statement last week that of the 200 cases, the inflations
that's not what he said.
Lead to death toll, which leads to keeping people at home because of the fear of getting the virus and dying of it.
We
Brian,
can debate that.
So it's all connected.
No, it's not. We're talking.
What Eric Trump is saying, let me finish. But what Eric Trump is saying is that he believes that the Democratic Party is milking this, and they're going to keep milking it until the election takes place.
That's not all he said, and I'm trying to get you to address specifically what he said, which you have not done. What he said is, after the elections on November 3rd, the virus will mysteriously disappear. Now, when somebody makes a statement like that, they're not talking about inflated numbers. They're specifically saying that it is a Democratic hoax. That is what he's saying.
He's not saying it's a hoax.
So what did he mean by that?
He's not saying it's a hoax.
So what did he mean by that?
Obviously, with the virus disappearing, just randomly disappearing, I believe what he means by that.
What do you mean?
Well, I can have my own interpretation. I'm not allowed to have my own interpretation of it.
All right. What do you think he meant when he said that?
I think he means the mass media coverage of the virus will disappear once November 3rd takes place, assuming that if Donald Trump loses the 2020 election.
It's absurd.
And after what the states have done, Brian, it's very clear that it's political. For example, in Nevada right now, there's zero reason that we should not have casinos open. None. Zero. In Arizona, which has twice the cases we do, and 98% of those cases are active, they have casinos open. Washington has casinos open. Mississippi, Louisiana, they're all opening this week. Nevada is in the bottom 15 in cases, active case rates. I mean, we're doing an outstanding job of stopping the virus. Either that or the virus was here in December or January. People got it. Hospitalizations didn't go up. People didn't die from it. Bottom line, we should be open. Our economy is getting destroyed.
What does that have to do with what Eric Trump just said?
Because we have a Democratic governor, Brian.
What does that have to do with Eric Trump's comments? Again, I don't understand.
Because what he's saying is that
talking about casinos.
He is saying that Democratic governors are going out of their way to keep the economy shut down.
No, that's not what he said. Actually,
no, but that's what he means.
Well, that's your interpretation. I'm just going by his actual words.
Okay,
and I'll repeat it again. Hold on. What he said was, after the elections in November, this virus is going to mysteriously disappear. No sane individual believes that. What he is saying is, this virus is here right now because of the Democrats. And he's saying after the election, if his father's reelected, it's going to mysteriously go away. How can you defend that statement?
Brian, what he's saying is that...
Here we go again.
Okay, why even ask me this question, Brian? You have your interpretation. You think you're right.
Why would he say that?
You're stubborn about it.
Why would he say that?
Just call him an idiot, call him a buffoon, call him a moron. Don't ask me a question. Let's go to the next subject.
Why is he
if you're not going to let me give my interpretation of what he says, are you going to let me give my interpretation or not?
What?
Because if you're not, call him 10 names. Okay. Call Trump a loser. Call Donald Trump Jr. Biff, and then don't let me respond.
I'll explain to you why I'm saying it 3 times.
Okay.
And I'm getting frustrated. Because
you're getting frustrated because my opinion is different than yours.
No,
that's why.
No,
because I'm saying
let me answer?
my interpretation of it is that he is saying that the mainstream media will stop covering this like it's the end of the world.
That's not what he said.
Once Donald, again, that's my interpretation. This is an opinionated talk show, right?
But he didn't mention the media. Why are you talking about the media?
What do you mean the virus?
He said the virus was going to mysteriously disappear. Nothing to do with the media. He said the virus is going to disappear after the election. That has nothing to do with the media. It has nothing to do with the casinos opening up.
Most likely the virus is going to be gone before the election anyways. Most likely it's going to be gone probably in August.
I don't know where you're getting
or June or July because the caseloads are going down across the country.
Again,
yesterday we had 860 deaths on Sunday.
What I'm trying to convey here is that that's not what Don Jr. said.
No, Eric.
And what I'm trying to Eric Jr.
Yeah.
Eric
Trump, yeah.
What I'm trying to convey, based on his words, he didn't talk about casinos opening. He wasn't talking about Democratic governors like what you just mentioned here in the last 5 minutes. He wasn't talking about any of that stuff. He said specifically that the virus is going to disappear right after the elections. That would lead any logical person to believe that he is blaming the Democrats for this virus and that it's a hoax and it's going to disappear if Trump is reelected.
He is not blaming the Democrats for the virus. In my opinion, what he is saying is that the mainstream media, their coverage of it will disappear after the election because they're.
What do you mean the coverage?
Because their job right now it is the biggest thing in the country.
He said the virus is going to disappear, not the coverage. He said the virus was going
Brian,
to disappear.
most likely the virus will disappear. Disappear as eradicated off the face of the earth?
He just said
Most likely
himself.
the caseload of the virus will drop tremendously in the next month or two, just based on
that's your opinion. That's fine.
on the way that the virus spreads.
That's your opinion. I disagree with you, but that's fine. That's not what he said, JD. Again, he said the virus was going to disappear right after the election.
Okay.
That's a ridiculous statement. Can we just agree on that?
I think that he was talking about the way that the virus is being covered by the media, which is keeping people inside their homes, which is keeping the economy down, which is creating unemployment, which is hurting Trump's outstanding, best ever economy, which is what he was running on.
It's not true.
What do you mean? It's not true.
This isn't Trump's economy. He's not the sole reason why the economy was prospering.
Okay, well,
so that's not factually accurate.
The economy while he's president is Trump's economy. If he's president of the United States and the economy is doing well, then it is President Trump's economy. The economy while President Trump was in office was President Trump's.
Nothing to do with the last decade?
That has nothing to do with it's not about Barack Obama, right? You don't need to bring up Barack Obama's situation.
It's not Trump's economy.
You don't need to get offended by it.
I'm not getting offended.
You are. You're getting very offended that I'm not bringing up Barack Obama when I'm talking about Donald Trump's economy.
That's not true. If I got offended by everything that you said that was not factual, I'd be offended every 6 seconds. So I'm not offended by what you just said.
What do you mean not factual?
Well, that's not factual. This isn't just Trump's economy. Trump is not responsible.
If Donald Trump is the president of the United States, then the economy is his economy.
Okay, I'll explain to you what I mean.
No, you're saying that just because I'm saying that, I'm assuming that he is responsible for it being outstanding, or that he was responsible for everything.
Well, I'll explain to you what I mean.
Again, no, you're spinning what I'm saying in your brain, and you're calling it not factual, which is completely untrue.
Okay, well, it sounds to me you're putting
you're putting this random spin out of nowhere because I didn't bring up Barack Obama. Donald Trump's economy was outstanding, right? And that is what he has been running on. That's if he's going to win the 2020 election, or if he was going to win the 2020 election, it was because he did a great job with the economy.
Okay.
Now that is most likely gone because of the lockdowns,
all right. Well,
because of the government, the various governors knew different
I don't want to
things.
get in the weeds and talk about the economy and all these other things. What I was trying to do.
No, you do though, because you want to get in the weeds so much that you want to bring up Barack Obama.
Listen, it's very simple. Okay,
being involved in making the economy what it was before the pandemic started, just because I didn't mention him.
If I may, here's what I mean by getting into the weeds. We talked about Eric Trump. We're talking about the comments that he made over the weekend on Fox News. He specifically, and I mean specifically, said that this virus would mysteriously disappear right after the election. You're the one who brought up the casinos. You're the one who brought up the economy. You're the one who brought up the Democratic governors. Hold on a second. All I am specifically talking about is the comments that Eric Trump made, and they were irresponsible. They were wrong. And he didn't bring up any of those things that you brought up. Now, if you want to interpret it that way, that's fine. Go ahead, Stein.
Yeah, he also specifically in that cut and in this article I'm reading, he also specifically said that this is some sort of ploy to keep Trump supporters away from the arenas where Trump shines brightest, which is when he holds these many thousand people packing into an arena to hear him speak. But my question to that is just what's preventing states in red states where he would normally be holding these rallies, your Alabamas, your South Carolinas, and so forth. What's preventing them from opening up an arena to allow Trump to have a rally?
Well, I mean, it's true. It's a valid point that you make, and I think that the reason why we don't have professional sports right now, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, is because they don't want thousands and thousands of fans.
Well, that's sports.
Right.
But it's up to the governors.
It is up to the governors.
It's up to the governor. Now, in some of these Democratic states, it would not be possible right now for President Trump to hold one of his big rallies because in a state like Nevada, you wouldn't be able to open an arena for anything to have that many people. But what's stopping an Alabama or a Texas from allowing?
Well, nothing. The governors
there could do it, but obviously they think it would be a unwise decision.
Well, but he also doesn't need to hold a rally in an Alabama or a Mississippi. He's most likely going to win those states regardless.
But JD, that is where he holds the majority of his rallies. No. That's where his base is.
No, Pennsylvania, the swing states.
I agree. Those are the states he needs. But
when he won the election, he spent a lot of time in those swing states. I mean, a lot more time than Hillary Clinton did, and that helped a lot. Those rallies helped a lot to win that 2016 election. But to Stein's point, exactly. If we're being asked to stay home for another 2 or 3 months, we're looking at most likely an all-mail ballot. There's a lot of ways that fraud can be committed under the circumstance, and it does hurt. It does hurt Trump. Eric Trump is right in making that statement that not being able to hold those rallies can hurt him in those swing states. I believe it would hurt him in those swing states.
Okay, here's where I disagree.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you have one side of the media saying, I mean, Trump today, he's been saying, it is time for this to end. We need to reopen. And then on the other side, you have, MSNBC and CNN just finding various ways to explain how dangerous this is. Like, for example, this new Kawasaki syndrome that all these kids are getting. What they're not telling you, they're saying, there's 120 kids across the country that have the COVID toe, the blue toe, and they have this virus, or they have this after effect from getting this virus. Well, I mean, Kawasaki syndrome in the United States, there was 5,500 hospitalized of it last year. You're getting a lot of misinformation. Like, for example, in Nevada, yes, did our caseloads go up by 195 yesterday? They did, but we tested 8,500 people. So our positive testing rate was actually 50% of what it typically is, which means the virus is actually is not as prevalent here as you would think it was. But yes, obviously our caseload goes up because we test more. But that all that information is not being accurately portrayed to the public, and that's happening for a number of reasons. In my opinion, A, to keep the economy down, which is destroying people's lives by causing them to lose jobs. But also, it is in the Democrats' best interest at this point to have all mail ballots, in most states in the United States. And that plus a poor economy, and then if they can blame all this on Trump, which they're trying to do, like Jake Tapper, the things that he's been saying lately.
Name me one thing that Jake Tapper said that you think is factually inaccurate, please.
I'm not saying factually inaccurate. I'm saying that he is trying to put all this on Trump.
Name me a statement.
CNN is going all out and trying to blame.
Hold on, let's go with that.
Trying to blame President's lack of President Trump's lack of a response.
If I can just jump in, because you've got a lot of things going there. What did Jake Tapper say that you disagree with on CNN?
Brian, I didn't say I disagreed with anything Jake Tapper has said. So stop assuming that. All I'm saying is
you're criticizing him, and I want to know why.
When did I criticize him?
Just now.
No.
He's doing everything he can to go after Donald Trump, you said, that he's not reelected.
That isn't criticizing him, Brian. I'm just saying that is taking place as we speak.
Can it be possible?
Right.
If I could just jump in. Can it be possible that maybe Tapper is just holding the president accountable? Well, you're laughing.
He's not just holding the president
Here's
accountable.
my problem when you make a blatant statement like that. Hold on a second. Now it's my turn. Here's my problem with when you make a statement.
You just
like
hijacked.
You've been talking for 5 minutes. I haven't interrupted. You got to let me
talk
jump
15
in.
minutes on a consistent basis.
All right,
Brian.
go ahead.
There's no reason to slam your mic down. Don't be a girl. Don't be a child.
All right, finish the
Don't
segment.
be a child.
Go ahead, finish the segment.
I'm not finishing the segment.
When you mentioned
but don't be a child and slam the mic down.
When you mention 15 different things and you talk for 5 minutes, I forget a lot of those things.
Okay,
so
that's
what
fine.
I'm trying to do is what normal radio hosts do is I'm trying to chime in and have a debate with you on one subject so you don't name 30 different things. That's what I'm trying to do. I am specifically now talking about Jake Tapper.
Right.
And you made a blatant statement about Jake Tapper, and you are criticizing him for going after Trump, and you're insinuating that he's saying things just to get Trump not reelected, or because he's biased, or because of this or that. And I am asking you a very specific question when you make a statement like that. For example, when I go after Laura Ingraham, I give specific examples why I think she's a racist. I give specific examples why I think she's biased. Now you're going after Jake. Hold on. Now you're going after Jake Tapper, and I'm asking you to give me one specific example.
I'm not going after Jake Tapper. I'm just explaining what's going on.
You're criticizing him.
I didn't call him a racist.
I didn't say you did.
I do obviously think that he is biased against Donald Trump based on things that he said. That makes me think that he's biased against Donald Trump.
That is not accurate.
I never said that.
How can you claim somebody's biased when they don't say something that's
I have never. Just because you don't say that something isn't untrue doesn't mean you're not biased.
What has he done that you don't agree with? I think he's a very good journalist.
I'm not saying that I don't agree with it. I'm just saying what I think is going on is the economy is being shut down as long as possible to institute mail-in ballot voting, as well as increasing.
How does mail-in voting help Democrats?
Voting, voting.
How does mail-in voting help Democrats?
Voting harvesting, potentially.
So Democrats are cheating elections.
A lot of fraud can take place.
A lot of fraud can take place in any
election.
Okay, but you assume it's going to favor the Democrats.
It's a right-wing talking point.
It's not a right-wing talking point.
Yeah, it is.
No evidence to back that up. It's a right-wing talking point.
Studies have been done. There's no evidence to suggest that mail-in balloting helps Republicans or Democrats.
That's just one of the things you just said that I disagree with, but I was trying to focus on one specific thing. This is what people on the right do that support Donald Trump. CNN, this anchor is biased. This anchor is just trying to do anything, say anything he can to get Trump, out of office. Okay, what has he said that is not factually accurate? What has he said that you disagree with? And I don't get any answers. So,
again, I didn't say that he is just saying anything to get him out of office.
what has he done that's wrong?
What I'm saying is they are trying to pin this on Trump for not stopping the virus from spreading early, which is making him responsible for the economy being terrible, which they believe, along with the mail-in ballot voting, will most likely cost him the 2020 election.
Here's what
and
they
so
have
when
done.
Eric Trump says those things, I agree with him in that regard. I do think this has to become completely political, and you don't like it when I bring up when I talk about governors and I bring up I get in the weeds because it brings out facts that don't support the things you have to say. But Brian,
no idea what you're talking
like it or
about.
not, California, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, they all got into a pact called in Nevada, a Western States Pact, Brian, despite the fact that it was supposed to be based in science and data and not politics, but they're all five.
I don't understand what that
They're all
has to
five
do
Democrat. Well, how do you not understand?
Eric
How
Trump's
do you not
comments.
understand five economies that are being shut down, asking for $1 trillion from
All
the
right,
federal
fair
government?
enough. Well,
how do you not understand
I'll answer that.
Gavin Newsom saying that his
All right, there you go again.
that his economy is so poor that he has to shut down prisons and jails soon, when 37% of those who are imprisoned end up back in prison, and 56% of them end up back in prison for a different crime. Right now, what's going on is
Do you want me to answer any of those four
Democratic
questions
governors
you just
are
asked
in the
me?
process of basically making these threats if they don't get money from the federal government. And in many cases, the bailout is not due to the coronavirus. Like, for example, in Illinois, the financial situation there was terrible for a long time before this happened. But a lot of these Democratic governors are asking for large amounts of money from the federal government, and they're basically saying, or else.
I forgot the 3 or 4 questions you asked me, and I don't remember. That's why I try to interrupt you, because I don't remember. You asked me like 3 or 4 questions there. Honestly, I don't remember any of the questions you just asked me because you keep talking after you ask me a question. That's why I got a little frustrated. If you want to ask me a question, I'll gladly try to answer any of them. It doesn't mean we're going to agree or disagree, but I forget the questions you asked me. I don't know, so I'll move on. But anyway, going to what I said earlier about Eric Trump. There was no evidence to support the fact that Democrats are keeping this coronavirus thing going, and they want innocent people to die, and they want businesses to fail for the sole reason of Donald Trump not being elected in November. There is no evidence to support the fact that this virus is just going to, quote unquote, disappear right after the elections. Eric Trump was wrong in saying that. If he wants to share opinions on, well, I think Democrats are covering the coronavirus like this to hurt my dad, okay, fine. I'll listen to what he has to say, but that is not what he said. He specifically said that this virus was going to disappear, and it is an irresponsible thing to say, just as irresponsible as Don Jr. when Don Jr. said that Joe Biden is a pedophile, when there's no evidence to claim that it's sexual with Joe Biden or that he is attracted to children. It is a ridiculous thing to say, and it is ridiculous to use this towards a political spectrum that Eric is, in saying that this virus is just going to mysteriously disappear right after the elections. It's just an irresponsible thing to say. That's the only point I was trying to make in that whole conversation. For me, nothing to do with casinos, nothing to do with governors, nothing to do with the media. It has to do with an irresponsible moron in Eric Trump, who is going on national television. What a shocker, by the way. It was Jeanine Pirro who wants to do segments and talk about the vitamins that Donald Trump is taking because he has so much energy. What a shocker. He did an interview on Fox News. And, of course, Pirro is not going to challenge him on anything. If you want to talk about biased people in the media, what a shocker that Eric goes on Fox News attacking all Democrats and saying that this virus is mysteriously going to disappear right after his father is reelected. It is a joke and an ignorant and a dumb thing to say, and I am shocked that anybody would defend those comments of Eric Trump. If you want to talk about media bias and you want to talk about Democrats and the fact that Democrats, are politicizing this, and okay, fine, let's have that conversation. But to me, the only point I was trying to make in that entire conversation was I think it was very irresponsible for Eric to make those comments.